that because you're in an all-inclusive, you're not gonna spend anything. This is just one of the many misconceptions first-timers have about all-inclusive resorts. We're now ready to share what we learned in this $400 per night resort hotel in the Caribbean. You gotta pay attention to the details. It was hard.
What's an all-inclusive resort?
That's what we're gonna tell you. Hello from Cancun, Mexico. We're at a beautiful all-inclusive resort here. Look at this, we got all this for ourselves. We have this beautiful ocean ahead of us. But in today's video, I'm gonna tell you what you need to know before booking an all-inclusive vacation. So why would you pick an all-inclusive? Think about it. Everything's taken care of for you, right? That's amazing.
Almost everything.
Almost everything. Yeah, we're gonna talk more about in detail, but just this concept that you don't need to do much work, you just arrive and enjoy.
And it's in a beautiful location.
Most likely, yeah. Oceanfront most of the time, and it's just amazing. Before getting started, let's introduce ourselves, right? Many people may not know us. So I'm Renata. I'm a journalist. I create travel videos around the world, always bringing my husband here, Gordon, who's also my cameraman.
Hola.
Okay, so let's move to a different location now. The wind here is great, to enjoy the beach because it's refreshing, but to shoot a video, not so much.
No, not so much.
Sorry about the audio if you're having problems so far. Let's go somewhere else. Yeah, but unfortunately, the wind continued strong the whole day. In Cancun, we got beautiful sunrises like this every day. And this here is already one of the restaurants where you can have breakfast. Amazing. Look at how wonderful. With this view. All resorts also have their shops like this, but don't be surprised with the prices.
So bring your necessaries. Bug repellent, sunscreen, sunglasses, hats. They really cost a lot.
Yeah, of course they have everything here in case you forget, but the prices are in dollars. Let's just keep it like that. And it's much more expensive than in the United States.
You can save by buying at home. And don't forget to bring the appropriate attire for
nighttime.
and a la carte restaurants.
That's really important because you may want to dress up, when you go out at night, even inside the resort. What does an all-inclusive really include? Your room, of course, but not all rooms are equal, just like in every hotel. For example, here, you can get these cabins over here, or you could be in the building, the main building back there, or even you could be in the main building, but without an ocean view. So manage your expectations.
If you're expecting an oceanfront with a balcony, that will be an upcharge. Or if you want a bigger suite, that's even more.
The first price that you see there may not be what you end up paying. Or it can just be the other way around. We paid for the cheapest room, but as we have gold status in the loyalty program of the platform we use to book, we got a free upgrade to a room with an ocean view. Let's talk about meals here. Yes, all your meals are included, but in different types of restaurants. For example, you have the buffet restaurants and the a la carte restaurants. For the a la carte, you most likely will need a reservation. So pay attention because it varies from resort to resort. The difference is basically at the buffets, you have mainly international food. Here in Cancun, for example, you may not find a lot of regional food or maybe even Mexican food. It's international because they need to please an audience, from the entire world. When you go to the a la carte restaurants, then you may have better, I'd say, experience or a more authentic experience depending on the restaurant, but it may be difficult for you to get a reservation. So pay attention to how everything works. Here in our hotel, for example, you need to make a reservation scanning a QR code or going directly to their app. You gotta pay attention to the details. When do reservations open? Because they run out, pretty fast sometimes. It was hard. To talk about beverages, let me call the expert here.
Well, I don't know if I'm an expert, but hey, so when it comes to beverages, alcohol is included. But don't have high expectations because most resorts may not include premium liquor. But that's not a problem unless you like specific brands. Also, most drinks may come watered down, not as strong as you would expect or wish.
How was your welcome drink?
My welcome drink was very strong, I think. Yeah, I was feeling it. Also, you don't want to be the one that imbibes too much walking around smashed.
How is service around the pool? How would you describe?
Oh, it's adequate. I do think that if you are a tipper, you will get better service than those who don't.
Yes, we're gonna talk about tipping as well. Keep watching.
One last thing that we didn't mention yet. Be very cognizant of the opening and closing times of restaurants. Not every restaurant is going to be open every day.
It's closed. This is what we wanted for lunch.
And not every restaurant is going to be open 24 hours or even 12 hours in a day. You have to plan your eating times.
Yes, and even on that point, not exactly what we'll see on their website or even their app will correspond to reality. For example, here we experienced that a few times. You know, restaurants that we wanted to go, they should be open, we're closed, and vice versa. This restaurant will be open today. You don't know. It could be the times also that we're living right now. Ask the staff if there's a restaurant that you really want to visit, and pay attention to the notes that they spread around the hotel. It is very important that you pick the right season also for your trip. Let's talk about Mexico and the Caribbean more specifically. Here you have low season and high season. Low season is obviously summer when it's too hot and humid. High season is during winter, the North American winter. And even during high season, sometimes will be more packed than others. For example, the holidays, Christmas, New Year's, expect a lot of people everywhere. Also spring break here in North America, March, April, it'll be full of college kids. If you're one of them, enjoy, you know, but if you're not, consider picking a different time.
You don't need to avoid, just be aware because the price is higher.
Another thing that a lot of people want to know, you know, hurricane season.
Hurricane season starts in June all the way to November, peak September, October.
You never know, you know, if you book during those times, this area can be hit by a hurricane. The chance exists. And for the Caribbean specifically, the number one question we got in the previous video, the sargassum. It can arrive throughout the year, but it tends to get worse in the warmer months. Our trip to Mexico was a few months ago, so we didn't catch the latest wave of seaweed. But as the situation changes every day, keep an eye on the sites that monitor the coast in real time, as they tell you which beaches are clean.
Another important point is know the type of resort you are looking for. The experience you have at the resort may be quite different depending on the resort you book. Some are for adults and some are for families.
And some are for young adults and parties.
For example, the Hard Rock, well, you can expect lots of young people and party. Also, the beach at every resort may be slightly different. Some apparently have a little bit more rocky shore. Others have a big wide beach for which you can sunbathe at.
And also waves and no waves.
Oh, yes.
Amazing.
And some have bigger waves than others.
Which one do you prefer?
I like the big waves.
Ah, you're such a kid.
Yes. Another thing to consider is it close to town or is it far from town? If you want to make a shopping trip into town, then you may have quite a distance to travel. Whereas if you're only expecting to stay on resort, then that wouldn't even matter. An additional item to consider is the prices of the resorts. Now they come in all price ranges from a lower end to medium to very expensive. Going for a higher priced resort may not make a material difference to your experience.
Also, within the resort, some activities are included. For example, there are beach volleyball, gym, you know, at the pool. You can have Pilates, something like that. But not everything is included. For example, scuba diving. We were told here that we could have scuba diving lessons to learn how to scuba dive in the pool, but not when you go to the ocean to really practice.
And that's not a certification to be able to do scuba diving.
Don't just go with the flow because you're all excited at the moment, then you may get a bill.
And another major consideration is if you're going to be wanting to hang out outside of the resort, then why would you pay for an all-inclusive? That doesn't make sense, right? Otherwise, you're paying for the use of a resort when you're not even actually here.
That goes for a restaurant off-site also, if you want to include. Let's say if there's a very specific place you want to try, if you're in an all-inclusive, you'd be paying for food twice. You need to think about what is important for you in a hotel. For example, is it golfing, parasailing, jet skiing? You want to go to salons, spas? You know, some hotels have all these great things, some don't. Some hotels have this for a fee and some don't. So do all your research because everyone has different needs. Let's say you have kids, so you'd like a pool with slides and places where kids could have fun. Make sure you check all these details. Hotels that include everything will probably be very expensive, so you gotta know if it's worth it for you. Even in terms of the ambience, for example, we passed in front of some hotels and they had loud music the whole day, all that party atmosphere, woohoo! If that's what you want, it's perfect. But if it's not, your vacation will not be as enjoyable as you expected. Okay, Gordon, talk about this very important thing here.
Oh, the all-important wristband. The most important item after you have arrived and checked in.
Yeah.
This is your access band, and do not lose. Otherwise, your wallet will be in a whole lot of heartache. If you lose, you potentially could be paying $50 to $75 per day for the length of your stay. Why? Because someone may use it and charge up a whole bunch of fees, tours, premium drinks to your wristband. So you don't want to lose it.
Anybody could use that to come into the resort also and drink as much as they want.
The wristband is what gets you access to the restaurants, the facilities, even to the resort. It's that important. One last thing you may notice is that some people have a different color wristband than you. A different color wristband may gain more privileges on the resort than what you have. Or it may be an indicator that you're a timeshare owner or a part of a premium club.
We just saw someone being guided here on a tour of the resort. So let me tell you about the check-in process as well, because it's a whole different process compared to checking in at a regular hotel. Someone will sit down with you before you even go to the registration, will explain you everything, will have a map and show you where everything is. That's really nice. It is your chance to ask questions and to understand how everything works. Don't assume you know or that you go with the flow, because you may miss on some important things. With us, it was really nice. We were welcomed by a nice lady here. She explained everything to us and it was wonderful. This is also the chance that the hotel has to upsell you on certain excursions and certain activities, so just be aware of that so that you're not caught by surprise.
They may also try to introduce you to the facility as a timeshare.
They may also offer you discounts on certain activities if you attend a meeting about their timeshare. If that's something you're into and you're seriously considering buying, go for it. Otherwise, it may not be the best use of your time. Finally, I'm going to talk about a controversial topic, especially if you're not from North America. If you're from North America, you're used to tipping, but other cultures may not be. And this is big here in Mexico, especially Cancun. You're expected to tip everywhere and for everything. Prepare a lot of small bills for tipping, and you'll be expected to tip whenever you get some kind of service. If you go to the restaurants, if you get a coffee, if you get water, if you get drinks, all this adds up, along the day. So many people may not think about that or may not budget for that. This is normal in the United States and Canada, but if you're from Europe, from Asia, from South America, from Africa, you may not be used to this tipping culture. And one thing that was a little different than what I expected in Mexico is that everything in these resorts is in English and all prices are in dollars. You'll be surprised to see dollar bills everywhere here because this is the audience here. And tipping is also expected according to North American standards. Don't think that because you're in an all-inclusive, you're not going to spend anything. Tipping is important for people that work here. It makes a huge difference on their salaries. Now, tipping may also make a huge difference in the quality of service that you get. Do you want your drinks in an hour or in 5 minutes?
Oh, yeah.
In other words, the quality of service may be proportional to how much you tip, and if you tip at all. Not all resorts are like this. In some, tipping is extremely forbidden, but in the vast majority of cases, it's not. Take our hotel, for example. At the booking site, it clearly says that gratuities are included. But when you get here, there are different expectations. Talking about tips, hope you're enjoying these tips so far. And if you are, give me a like on this video. And if you want to learn more about Mexico, there's an entire playlist here with videos in Mexico City, Cancun, Cozumel, Isla Mujeres, Playa del Carmen, a lot of good stuff. The link is in the description.
But look at this. How beautiful, huh?
Yes.
Now you're ready to decide. So I would suggest that you start looking at reviews of each of the resorts. The reviews are a good place to find out about the negatives and positives about a resort. And you'll get thousands of reviews because many people have stayed. So you have many different viewpoints. So this is how I weed through the reviews. I look at all the positives to see what's great about the resort. And then I look at the negatives to find the pitfalls.
And Gordon understands that. He's the one always booking our hotels.
That's how I approach a resort to your final step. Look at the reviews, determine what's great about it, figure out what the pitfalls are, and then make a decision.
And read multiple sources, not just TripAdvisor or let's say just Google reviews. Combine them all. And sorry about the noise. It's like the party's about to get started over here.
We came up here and just show you the great view.
Yeah, we thought it would be quieter, you know, with the party getting started down there, but no. Not when you're this close.
Hello again. We chose another beautiful location here in Cancun to close this video and give you some final tips. One thing very important, don't think that because you're at an all-inclusive, everybody there is working for you. They're going to be serving you all the time. The waiter's just coming with drinks all the time. Manage your expectations.
Don't come with blown out expectations. You're here to relax, enjoy. Make sure you pick a budget that you're comfortable with and don't blow it out.
Because a lot of things, as I mentioned before, although it is all-inclusive, are not included. Transport being another one of them,
Yes.
right? Including to and from the airport. It may be included, but it may not be.
Temper yourself. Don't go wild, but have fun.
That's the most important thing. You're at a place like this to have fun and enjoy yourself, so make the most of it.